Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I thought we would have a look around the Holland map that has come in and to see what's kind of going on. This was a user mission which was created by Dog, Dog for Life, so I'll leave a link to his channel in the description, so just kind of give him a shout out. He makes a lot of really cool War Thunder videos, and I've known him for many years, and he's always come through when it comes to sorting stuff out. So this is, what was it, North Holland, I think it was. It's inspired by Dutchyland, but one of the things you may have already worked out is the fact that the layout of the map is exactly the same as Eastern Europe. Basically, if you actually match up the river to Eastern Province, I think it is, you'll find it's exactly the same. You do have a bit of changes in the actual, look of the place, but the overall feel of it is going to be pretty much the same, with the actual area itself being a little bit different. You can see the fun little cars all over the place, which are, I believe some of them are at least new. Look at this thing. Like, what is that? Like, seriously, that is just ridiculous. It's also very bulletproof. But yeah, so we have a bunch of new kind of car models and stuff like that in the setup, and also just a ton of really interesting looking buildings and just a bunch of really nice looking things. Like, at the end of the day, if you have a look at this map, there's a ton of beautiful little details everywhere, and I'm sure it'll play pretty decently. There's nothing that's going to be too bad on it, and I feel like there is a little bit of destruction around here. Don't know if you'll be able to destroy a lot of stuff. But also, this was one thing that they actually highlighted a lot on the dev stream, and it's a mall that you can go into. I don't know why they highlighted it so much, but I thought might as well kind of show you it here. So the interesting thing about this one is, there's a bunch of walls and stuff you can kind of break. There's a bunch of things that you can destroy and go through and see what's kind of crack-a-lacking. I don't know if you're able to destroy all of the different parts of it, but it does give you an area where you can hide. You can kind of go and sit and see what's happening. And then you can go through here, and then around the place. There's a lot of really little intricate areas you can kind of sit in and be annoying, I suppose, is probably the way to put it. And that's obviously going to work out pretty well. But the map itself looks nice. There's a few little hills in there, but mainly it's more similar to a standard city map that's around the place. There should be a few more bites, in my opinion. And the water is actually really cool because it's not very deep. So because the water is not very deep, this means that it's a lot easier to be able to move in. And you don't have to use the bridges to go across the water. This is one of the best things that they've actually done over the last few years in War Thunder. Make a lot of the water slow you down, but not untraversable in unamphibious vehicles. They tried to make it so certain vehicles could only go across in certain areas, with if they were amphibious or not, but that obviously didn't work very well, so the change that they made here, I think, is a lot better. One of the cap points was over here in these weird buildings, so this one should be not too hard to get to. And there is a decent amount of cover. I would be a little bit worried about getting over here in the first place and then kind of fighting from here. Yeah, the cap point was like in this area here, so that's where it's ended up moving around. But I feel like in general, this area won't be too hard to fight over. Like, the walls are a little bit high, so don't know if you can actually destroy them or not. Oh no, you can, just not the HE. And you can move around this area quite easily, and there's little places where you can fight around and little places you can attack from, and that generally I think will be fine. Like, I'm not too bothered by that. There's a decent amount of cover in here, and it isn't too hilly, but because there's a lot of cover, you can move from house to house to house and then get to the next area, so that's fine. They've taken some assets from other places. I suppose that's gonna be the standard thing. But yeah, I mean, I don't think this area is too bad to fight around. A lot of cover to get to from both sides, because one spawn's like over there, then the other spawn's over there, so I'm not too worried. There's enough bridges across the place, there's a ton of hard cover everywhere. The only thing that's going to be annoying about this map is if you lose the initial hit. There's a lot of maps which just you kind of crumble if your team loses the initial hit. Ardennes or Hergen Forest is really bad for this. And I'm a bit worried that this map might be pretty bad about it too, but we're gonna just have to see what goes on. There's a big old road at the top, so I mean there's kind of a risk-reward idea here, so you can kind of get across and sort it out. I think that'll be kind of cool to see. See if anybody tries to take it. Probably not, they'll just get blown up. But there's plenty of the map where it's just kind of big houses or shops and stuff like that, and if you're gonna fight around that, you know, that's fine. We see it in a lot of different maps. As long as there isn't too many as long as there aren't too many like streets where you can just kind of pick and choose and it's RNG whether you get to certain streets or not. There's a huge bridge over there as well. Then it's overall pretty fine. There's a few little fountains and sculptures and stuff like that around that are all destructible. A lot of destructible stuff on this map here, but I think it should be not too bad on the frame rate. I haven't seen anything so far, at least on my end, that would indicate something similar to that. And there are a bunch of like little signs which look pretty fun. Like, don't know if I can destroy that. But you can see here like the souvenirs sign with the triple X's. Because good old Dutchy land. There's a hostel over there, ready for the boys. A good old pharmacy over here too. So a lot of nice little details, and of course the good old fluffy cats. So there you go, the fluffy cat coffee shop, even modelled on the inside and everything. So a lot of really nice little details here. The random rubble around this doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like most of the city is fine, right? And then this mall is just torched. And I don't really know why. Like, I don't know if there's like an explanation for this, but yeah, it's just kind of odd how everything else is fine, but this area has just been absolutely exploded. You have, of course, the church there, which looks really nice, and then a few odd pieces of grass in the water, but that's okay. Nothing too crazy. And yeah, because the layout of the map is a layout that many people have already enjoyed. Oh, there you go, Netherlands. But since this is a layout that people have enjoyed in the past, there's no reason why they wouldn't enjoy this in the future, right? And that's something that many people have asked Gaijin to do, like to actually take ideas that they've really enjoyed and then kind of add them into new maps and add them into the new development cycle. And that's exactly what they've done with this map. There's nothing here that's really new from a kind of gameplay point of view. A lot of it takes many different ideas from Sweden and also European province and kind of puts them together. And is that a bad thing? No, I don't think so. Well, here's the red light district. Haha. But right next to the church. But the fact is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? And with the map rotation filter, with all of the general stuff that they know from that, and you know what people like to play, what people don't like to play, they can definitely just work out what to make. And this map, even though it doesn't seem very, what would you class it as, like very interesting, like it doesn't really spark anything new. What you have here is a bunch of ideas that worked with a new lick of paint. And you can't really blame them for that. This area is going to be a bit dodgy to get across. Open flat area is not usually the best. But you can always just go by the town and then attack from there. It shouldn't be too bad. So yeah, this one just screams of, okay, we have a bunch of ideas that we know that work. And why don't we just kind of do those ideas again? Why not just kind of put them together and set them up in a way so we can kind of sort it out? I mean, why wouldn't you at the end of the day? Why wouldn't you take a bunch of stuff you know that works and you know that people enjoy and just add more stuff to it? Like, there's no real reason to not do it. You can see here, this is what it looks like from above. So there's like an area here that's kind of destroyed for some reason. No idea why. Maybe that was an area that got attacked. But the central area is not really destroyed at all, apart from, of course, the mall. That's obviously what was shown in the trailer. You got wind farms, so you got to be a bit careful while flying around your planes. But from above, like it really does look like a pretty simple map. You know, there's a bunch of maps that have been way overcomplicated for War Thunder. This one is super simple. So that means that there'll be very obvious fighting points. There'll be very obvious areas to where people generally attack from. But I will also say at the same time, there's a lot of areas on this map where you can easily move to other areas, right? And that's what you're kind of looking for from this position. You're not looking for a place where you kind of get stuck in an area. You're looking for a place where you can kind of move to a different one and move to a different street or move to a different area to fight. And with the water the way that it is, with the bridges the way that there are, with the fact that there's like 2 lanes of houses on each side and then also this open area over here, there's plenty of opportunity to do that. So I think in general, that's good. I think overall I'm pretty happy with that setup. This map should be nice since it's basically taking a bunch of ideas from other places. And also not having a massive hill somewhere where people can just sit on and overlook the rest of the map, which is the problem stuff like European Province and things like that have. The contours of this map are a lot more flat, which is much better. It means that spawn camping may be a slight issue, but it's much better that instead of people just overlooking the whole map and being able to take you out from one position. That's what we've kind of learned from Sinai and also learned from European Province. So the fact that this map has a very small, slight, shallow rolling hills, and that's really about it, that makes me super happy, and I hope that they continue to do that, instead of these huge maps where there's a bunch of different stuff going on. Because for me personally, that leads to just random gameplay that you can't really control, and you don't really know what's going on, and it just kind of sucks. It would be nice if, you know, that didn't happen, and I feel like a map like this promotes the other side, which is fantastic. Looks good. Hopefully it plays well. They haven't really had a bad map recently. You know, I know people squabble about certain ones, but for a few years now, I feel like there's only been pretty good ones. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm forgetting one. I usually am. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. I'd like to thank Schnitzel Stroker, Brendan Quinn, Vilneus, Character Fuel, Carrion Crow, Nicholas Richardson, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, B. Young, Opium Prime, Masonocrat, Lafouche, Alan Hacker, Sam Arslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.